Let me ask you. So this is interesting. We have a legacy financial system that's trying to grind against or move countervailing to the laws of thermodynamics or the thermodynamic arrow of time. And here we have this new system introduced in the form of Bitcoin that that nearly perfectly mirrors the laws of thermodynamics. It aligns itself with the arrow of time and the thermodynamic arrow of time. It seems almost serendipitous that Bitcoin is released at this time when the system is starting to come apart in this decade. Do you think this is almost like an autoimmune response by the global human hive mind?
Yeah. I well, like I do, because look at what Satoshi put in the Genesis block.
Right.
It's pretty clear that Satoshi was troubled, right? Was inspired, antagonized, irritated enough, right, to do this. Humans solve problems, right? And so if I introduce a pathogen into your body, right, your body reacts. Living creatures react to protect themselves. So if someone is sensitive to a given issue, and Satoshi was sensitive to financial integrity, right, and obviously had some decent sensitivity and awareness of Austrian economics and the perils of inflation and the moral hazard of bank bailouts. Mm-hmm. So that was a sensitive individual that tapped into a bunch of other sensitive individuals who shared that. And it's almost like I pricked you with a needle, and I introduced this little pathogen, and then you swallowed that, and there was some inflammation. And the inflammation, grew and festered, and some antibodies built, and an organism built, and the organism got bigger, and it got bigger, and it got bigger, and then it got fed. If we had zero inflation if the US dollar monetary supply expanded by 0% for the past decade, how much passion would there be in the Bitcoin community compared to the amount of passion there is today?
Be much less.
So we're back to this issue. It's a great technology, and it's inevitable. We're back to this issue of Zoom was inevitable. YouTube was inevitable. Virtual business models were inevitable. Bitcoin was inevitable, but it sure did get accelerated by certain things that happened. Bitcoin had 10 years of I would say a 7% forcing function with the dollar, and it got goosed a bit harder with Argentina and other developing world countries, and the anxiety of Syria and the anxiety of Iraq and the anxiety in Africa and the anxiety in South America and the like. So those stressors and the issue that goosed it, and the currency wars pushed it a bit harder. And then I think the pandemic crisis lit it on fire. I could say, Robert, like, there's no way I'm talking to you if there's no pandemic.
That's right.
But I don't think for a second that Bitcoin wouldn't be successful without me. And I don't think that it's anybody going to stop it. But I do think there's an avalanche of energy of individuals and corporations that got inspired and driven, into this ecosystem because of the pandemic. Back to war. Wars cause paradigm shifts. And this year, there's a currency war. And that's a war on money as a store of value, right? And that war on money as a store of value creates massive dislocations in the bond market and the equity market, and there are consequences to everything. And ultimately, Bitcoin is a platform, an anti-fragile but scalable platform serving as a store of value. And so the best possible circumstance would be if the entire world plunged into a war where value was dissipating in every currency, everywhere, at a rapid
Right.
rate. And I
Right.
think it describes what we have today.
I think it's exactly correct. And it's almost as if the Mongols breached the Great Wall of China, right? The Mongols being central banks that are basically robbing value from currency. And it's giving people more of an impetus to evaluate alternatives and to, for those that see it, to retreat behind the wall of encrypted energy, right? You have to defend your life force, your energy, your money from confiscation. And the most prevalent form of confiscation in the world today is inflation.
And I guess that's what makes it takes us to the next subject, which is Bitcoin as a store of value.